Good morning. Welcome to today's weekly conversation cafe. How are you all? It's only me today. Bianca is busy. So I'm kind of hoping that somebody will come and keep me company, say hello, perhaps have some comments about what we're going to talk about today. First of all, let's talk about COVID. As you all know, the lockdown is now over. And problems with Twitch. Not to worry. We'll see how that goes. So the lockdown is over, but we are still under a lot of restrictions, obviously for our own safety. Do you know what tier you're in right now? Most of the country is in tier 2. This means that you can go outside in groups of 6, no more, but they don't have to be in your household. But if you're inside, then you must stay with your own household. So we're still being very careful. Hopefully at Christmas, we'll all get to see some of our family and have some time with the people we love. But it is important to be careful up until then. So if you can work from home, do so. If you can't, wear your mask, wash your hands, do all the things to keep you and the people around you safe. So what I've been thinking about since yesterday is a very interesting documentary that I watched called The Social Dilemma. This is about social media and the effect that it's having on our life. I thought I knew a lot of this, but this documentary was really interesting. It was a sort of an expose of exactly what goes on behind the scenes in social media. And the interesting thing about it was that the people who were being interviewed were people who had started off as important, knowledgeable executives with various Silicon Valley companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And all of these people are not now working for those companies. And the reason they aren't working for those companies is because they feel that social media is perhaps now doing more bad than good. So it was a really interesting thing to watch because obviously these people started off as great fans of social media and what it could do. And their attitude had completely changed. The reasons they were giving were that because of the way social media now works, we are getting misinformed. And we are also being told what we want to hear rather than the whole story. And this is causing a lot of problems. So, for example, if you're an American and you are a Democrat, then your social media sites will pick up that you're a Democrat and they will send you information that is pro-Democrat and anti-Republican. You might say, so what? If you're a Democrat, then you want to hear things like that. But the point is that we are not getting a full picture anymore. People are simply hearing more of what they already think they know and believe. So, because social media is run as a profit-making concern, People are being played with. People are being manipulated to go in the right direction, to make money, paid by advertisers and paid by people with an agenda, with a propaganda. And this is getting dangerous. We're finding that where there are divisions in society, those divisions are getting wider. Where there are two sides or more than two sides to a picture, people are only seeing one side. And this doesn't help to understand, and it doesn't help to bring people together. And we are becoming more and more a divisive society. People standing on their sides and not being able to understand the other side. In the UK, we have this problem with Brexit. We have two sides. We have people who want Brexit and people who don't want Brexit. Where people believe in something, that is what is getting reinforced by their social media. So there is no room for compromise. There's no room for people to talk to each other. Also, the comment that many of these executives or ex-executives were making were that children are really suffering from use of social media, again, because they are being manipulated. They're being manipulated into needing things for themselves that either aren't achievable or aren't feasible or aren't good for them. So children's mental health is becoming an issue because of social media. Social media is an amazing thing. It has connected families. It has connected friends. The original idea was to give us access to huge amounts of information. That would be a library full of books. But because of the way the algorithms of social media work, we're not getting that anymore. Our opinions are being reinforced. The opinions of others are being hidden from us or divided. And we are becoming more and more isolated in our views. So when I watched this program, I didn't feel originally that this was something I didn't know. As an individual myself and as a parent, I've always been aware that social media is something that you should use selectively, that you should use to your benefit, but not be completely driven by. And that's what I've told my children. But what I hadn't realized was how much this has become a business. That this is not simply the way that you can choose to see social media. This is social media. So what occurred to me most after watching this was how much things like our conversation cafes really matter. Real people coming together to talk to each other and find out about each other and hear each other's opinions and look at things from each other's perspectives. We are not getting a chance to do that via some of the channels that we use. It is time we talk to each other as real people. And it is time that we searched for other opinions and talked to people who may not feel the same way as us, who perhaps live entirely different lives to us that we don't understand, we have no comprehension of. Because that's the only way that we communicate across this huge world. We can't sit in our bubbles believing what we believe and never allowing new ideas to take part in our lives. So I would really like to see more people coming into things like our conversation cafes and talking. You do not have to agree with each other. You don't have to change your opinions. You just have to listen to other people's. It's your chance to share your opinion as well. We don't always talk about things as major as worldwide social media. Sometimes we talk about food. Sometimes we talk about clothes. Sometimes we talk about what we did at the weekend. But every time somebody talks to somebody that they wouldn't usually talk to, you're opening a channel of communication which allows for some understanding and compromise and some bridges to be built between communities and between individuals. So that's why we do this. You can practice your English. Obviously, when we have a conversation cafe full of people who speak different first languages, then often English is the only language we can use anyway. And that's useful. It is useful for your practice. But at the same time, you can learn about other cultures. Try and understand why people think the way they think. Because what you are being told and what your children are being told via that huge network that is social media is not necessarily true. And it's not necessarily unbiased. And it isn't necessarily helping you to grow. Use social media. Social media, the internet, they are miraculous. They are incredible things. I am of an age where I remember when nothing like that existed. So I can appreciate just how marvelous an invention this is. But always keep your own mind. If you hear something on social media, don't just share it. Don't just go, oh, that's exactly what I think. I'm going to pass that on. Research it. The internet is really good for that. If you're not following the guidelines and the pathways and the rabbit holes that are being set for you by social media, then perhaps you will learn some things and you will not simply share the first piece of information that you hear because it triggered an emotional response in you. So my message to you today is come to our conversation cafes. Learn about all sorts of things. Talk, compromise. It's what it's all about. It's what Everyday English is all about and what Community Courtyard is all about. We want to bring people together. There are forces at work that are trying to divide people. Don't go with those forces. Have your own mind. Explore. Learn. Make your own path. So I'm going to leave it there. And I will see you next Saturday. Hopefully, you will have had a week of finding your own way, perhaps ignoring those notifications a little bit, perhaps thinking, maybe I'll research that. Maybe I'll look into that before you click share. I would love to hear about it. If you learn something, if you hear something, I would really like to know next week. And if you get a chance, do have a look at the documentary. It's called The Social Dilemma. And it really is interesting. It will make you think. And you can practice your English. Okay. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you all next Saturday. Bye.